I talk a lot about movies on this channel, that's no secret. So today I'm going to mix it up a little bit and talk about musical theatre, because that is another love of mine that I don't really talk about a whole lot unless it's Rent, because I talk about Rent a lot on this channel. This may alienate a lot of people watching this, but if you don't like musicals, give this a chance, because today I'm going to recommend to you Bear, a pop opera. If I ever told you. This is one of my favourite shows of all time. It might even be my favourite, above Rent and above Hamilton. Maybe. Those three are kind of my holy trinity and they rotate on which is my favourite. But Bear has a special place in my heart, and I'm surprised it doesn't have a bigger fan base because it really, really deserves one. So what is Bear, a pop opera? Bear, a pop opera follows a group of teenagers in their final year in high school in a Catholic boarding school. Most notably, we follow Peter and Jason, two best friends and roommates turned secret boyfriend. Obviously, they live in a Catholic boarding school, so not the best place to be gay, so they have to keep this hidden. There are other characters that we follow as well, like Nadia, who is Peter's plus-size sister, who is very funny and provides a lot of the comedic relief for the show. Ivy, who is the school's golden girl. She's pretty, she's talented, she gets all the boys, she gets all of the school roles. And Matt, who wants to be Jason, because Jason is the popular guy in school and he's also great. He's the golden boy. If Ivy's the golden girl, Peter's the golden boy. If Ivy's the golden girl, Jason's the golden boy, and Matt wants to be that, so he hates Jason, but he really, really loves Ivy. So there's a lot of tension there already. The story tracks them from after Christmas, when they audition for the school play Romeo and Juliet, right through to when they graduate and they perform the show. It's sad. This is a really sad show, I'm gonna warn you already. It kind of starts off at a pretty sad tone, and then progressively just gets sadder and sadder, and just things get worse. So be prepared. It's an emotional roller coaster. The show tackles a lot of darker themes, like homophobia in the Catholic Church, obviously, as well as teen pregnancy, drug use, and one version briefly touches on self-harm. However, it does depend on which version you watch, whether that's kept in, and most of the time it's very, very brief. So trigger warning, FYI. Quick history on the show. Bear was first conceptualised around 97-98 after Rent just blew up, which made angsty rock musicals about young people cool again. Kind of goes along with Spring Awakening and Next to Normal. So if you're a fan of those two shows, you will absolutely love this show. That kind of genre has also seen a bit of a recurrence lately with shows like Heathers and Dear Evan Hansen and Be More Chill. And I know that those shows have a massive fan base, so if you do like those, definitely give this one a shot because you're gonna like it. Now, there have been so many different versions of the show. It's been revived so many times. Because it is so small, it kind of crops up and then disappears. Most of its life is found in regional theatres. However, there are 4 main ones that we're going to talk about right now. The show first came to off-Broadway in 2001, starring Michael Arden as Peter. If you're a musical theatre fan, especially a newer musical theatre fan, you may be familiar with Michael Arden. He was Quasimodo in the off-Broadway Hunchback of Notre Dame, which, by the way, is fantastic. He also does direct a lot of musicals. He did the fantastic Deaf West Spring Awakening and directed the current revival of Once on This Island, which I think is still on Broadway at the moment. He's great. He's also the husband of my one true love, Andy Mientus, who was also in Deaf West Spring Awakening. However, when the cast recording came out, they did not use the 2001 cast because it took a while for the recording to actually get made and get funded. It didn't actually come out until 2007, about 6 years later. This one starring James Schneider from If Then as Jason, and Matt Doyle as Peter. Matt Doyle, I specifically only know from Gossip Girl. He was Eric Van der Woodson's, secret boyfriend, a very similar plot to this. He's done a couple of other theatre stuff, but if you know Gossip Girl, you will likely know Matt Doyle. Leave me alone, Gossip Girl's a good show. The show then kind of was quiet for a while. A couple of regional theatres and colleges did it until 2013, when it was revived in LA as a rock musical, which is essentially, it was the same, just they added some drums to it. This one is my favourite version, I think. This one starred Jonah Platt as Jason, who played Fiyero in Wicked and is also the brother of Ben Platt from Dear Evan Hansen and Pitch Perfect, and the son of Mark E. Platt, who is a very famous film, TV and theatre producer. He did things like the Into the Woods movie, Legally Blonde, Wicked, Josie and the Pussycats, 9, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Drive, Into the Woods, La La Land, Grease Live, Pitch Perfect 3, The Christmas Story Live, Jesus Christ Superstar Live, the new Mary Poppins Returns, and is set to do Rent Live, which is coming out next year, I believe. So this is a talented family. It also starred Peyton Lewis as Peter, Lindsay Pearce as Ivy, who you will know from Glee and the Glee Project, and Katie Stevens as Nadia, who was on American Idol for a bit and also is in Faking It and The Bold Type. So this is a very talented cast. This version is on YouTube, so I highly recommend watching that because it is my favourite version and constantly makes me cry whenever I watch it. There are actually 2 versions of this show though. There is a Bear, a pop opera, which is what those 3 versions were, and Bear the musical, because in 2012 the show was altered, edited and streamlined into a musical rather than an opera, which means they took out some songs, added in some scenes and made it more of a straight musical and made it focus a bit more on Peter and Jason. It's an okay version, it's not as good as the pop opera. A lot of the changes are a bit unnecessary, like they merged Nadia and Lucas together, which means that we lose a lot of the plotline of Nadia being plus size, which is quite unfortunate. Sister Chantel is a white lady in this, which again we lose a lot of the comedy and a lot of the heart of the character through that, and a lot of the songs were removed or changed around, and most notably I think they gave Role of a Lifetime to Jason rather than to Peter, which I'm not a big fan of. However, this version had a really great cast off Broadway. It starred the queen of angsty teen musicals, Barrett Wilbur-Weed, as Nadia, who you will know from Heathers. Also starred Missy Pyle as Sister Joan, who was the equivalent of Sister Chantel in this, who you will know from things like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Jumanji, Captain Fantastic. She's great, I love her. And Taylor Trench as Peter, who is the current Evan Hansen on Broadway. There isn't really a recording of this version anyway, you can probably hunt for it. I believe whoever wrote the new songs released an album EP of all of the new songs. They're okay, they're actually pretty decent, but the pop opera has such a special place in my heart that I couldn't possibly love any other version. It really is the better version. It's the one that's on YouTube and it's the one that's on Spotify. However, there is going to be another version of this show because it has just been announced that Bear has been greenlit to be adapted into a movie, which I'm very excited for. Catch me at the cinema at every single showing of that. Just get ready. Alternatively, cast me as Peter, please. I really want to play Peter. It's such a dream role. I think it might be my biggest dream role. Aside from the plot, I think the music is really what makes this show quite special. It is a pop opera, so it is sung all the way through, which may seem a bit jarring at first, but there is intersperse of dialogue during the songs, which doesn't make it too bad. It also means that you can just listen to this musical straight and still get what's going on. I don't think this show has a bad song in it. Of all of the, what is it like? I think it's like 36 songs. They're all fantastic, and it does something that a lot of songs for musicals do struggle with, and that's that every line in this show is important. When you sing something in a musical, it has to be important. That's kind of how musical theatre works. When you can't say it, you sing it. So when your show is entirely sung, every single line has to be important, and that's something that things like Rent and Spring Awakening do struggle with a little bit. Editing Alex here. Basically, to get the gist of what I'm saying, listen to anything by Sondheim or Lin-Manuel Miranda, because they are masters of writing sung-through musicals. Hamilton does it fantastically, and so does Bear, where every single line means something. There's no sort of filler lines. However, even though there are no bad songs, my favourites are You and I, Role of a Lifetime, Auditions, Plain Jane Fat Ass, Wonderland, Confession, Portrait of a Girl, Birthday Bitch, Are You There?, 911 Emergency, Ever After, One, God Don't Make No Trash, All Grown Up, Bear, and Absolution. Which sounds like a lot of songs, but considering that there are 36, that one's not actually too many. But in all honesty, I can listen to any of these songs and still be like, this is fantastic, this is a tune. Although some of them are a bit slow and sad to maybe be considered tunes. Now, one of my favourite things in musical theatre is a reprise. I love a good reprise. So that's when a song that has been sung before comes back again, but usually in a different context. Some shows that do this fantastically are again Hamilton, Into the Woods, Rent, and even Heathers do this very well, where they will take either a full song or just a little musical section and bring it back frequently to change the meaning. The other night I was procrastinating and I made myself a chart of every single musical motif in the show and every time it comes back. Overall, I found about 15, although there are probably more that I've missed. Because this show uses motifs so well. Officially, it doesn't have a reprise, which is where you will take an entire song and sing it again, maybe with the lyrics changed a little bit. But what it does, it will take motifs. It will just take a small moment that means one thing and then bring it back so many times, and each time the meaning's a little bit different. For example, the characters sing a refrain, "Hear my voice." For example, there is a big ensemble refrain that is sung at the end of auditions called "Hear my voice," which comes back about 3 or 4 times, and each time it means something different.
Did you really hear me? Hear my voice. I don't think you see me.
The refrain is about not really being heard or really being understood, which is a big theme in the show, so every time that comes round it means something. Also, they will take a refrain that is used in a later song and bring it in earlier to kind of foreshadow the events of what to come, which means that if you're paying attention you are rewarded, because you'll remember that and go, oh shit. It also means that this musical stands up to a lot of listens, because you will not catch all of these refrains, especially when they've come earlier and don't mean anything yet. For example, the opening refrain of All Grown Up is played at the end of Touch My Soul, which is about 5 songs earlier in the act. So at the time you won't catch it, it doesn't mean anything to you, just gloss over it, so then when it does come back in this kick-ass song, it foreshadows that plotline that's still to come. And my favourite example of this, in the song Epiphany in Jason's dream sequence, right at the very beginning, this is the opening song, Matt sings a little refrain that is then never brought up again until the very final song. So if you've been paying attention, it's a massive oh shit moment as to what that means, and it means that the opening makes so much more sense. And I don't think I actually caught that until I listened to it a good few times, because obviously these songs are at completely different ends of the show, so I didn't really associate them together, but when I did, oh, it was a good feeling. Actually no, it wasn't. It's a really sad feeling. It's a really sad refrain. So where can you find Bear? The 2007 cast recording is on Spotify, it's on iTunes, and it's also on Amazon Music. I'm not too sure about anywhere else, but they are definitely there. So if you want to, just sit down and listen through it. I think this show works best if you don't know too much about it, so go with what I've given you and just listen through it. Or alternatively, if you do want to watch it, there is a recording of the fantastic LA revival on YouTube. It does have Spanish subtitles, but you kind of just ignore those. It's fantastic. Definitely give it a watch if you've got a spare few hours. But have tissues ready, because my god, this is the saddest thing I've ever heard, to be quite honest, and I don't know why it's my favourite, because it hurts me. It hurts me on a physical level. The song Absolution is going to break you. It will physically rip you in half. I feel like I didn't really sell that. It's good, it's funny. There are a lot of funny lines as well to balance it out, especially Act 1. Act 1 isn't happy, but it is upbeat and it is very funny, which kind of makes up for the absolute emotional wreck that you'll be after Act 2. If you're not a fan of musical theatre, maybe still give it a shot, although if you've lasted this long through the video, you likely are. So go listen to it, go cry. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Look in these big blue eyes so you'll understand and know why we whisper in hallways. I'll be with you always, running together forever, you and I. One little sip, come to Wonderland where never finds you, for one enchanted night of dreams disguised in swirling light. 10,000 friends to make an ecstasy of motion. You're floating golden free and life is as it ought to be. You learn to play the straight man, your lines become routine, never really saying what you mean. But I know the scene will change. White picket fences and a dog, a trophy bride and children. God, I know that's what she wants.
We're doing time in confession. It's the sacrament of oppression. We have no need for forgiveness, because our shit's none of his business. Mothers say, oh dear, there's fat, then there's Jane. Plain Jane, fat ass, guilty of swallowing Jenny Craig whole. Plain Jane, fat ass, keeping society's civilities and loving her role.
Why are you? But Jason, what role do I play? Am I a savior or a phase? Am I here to damn you or to help you navigate this maze where confusion is a crime? that you're out there, and they tell me that you see. I've tried to find the meaning, God, you know how hard I've tried, but I don't know where I'm going, and I don't have any guide. They said things would get better, but I guess they lied. So much for our ever after. I thought the good guys would triumph. I trusted the hero, I didn't hear his goodbye. I guess it was lost in the talk of a straight-acting coward. I got so high I faded. Sometimes I don't recycle. I finally nailed my girlfriend. I took some extra NyQuil. I blinked and it was over. I swear with all my might, I'll sin no more. I'm sorry, no. God don't make the same, you see, or everyone would look like me. People need to stop and think. It ain't a rainbow without the pink. Ignorant folks pray and judge and jury. They're the one that's gonna know God's spirit. 'Cause God don't make no trash. Dear Jason, how did a simple love get complicated? Days crawl by, I ask myself again, should I have waited? I keep on waiting, waiting in the rain, and I keep on hating, hating all the pain, and I keep on trying, trying to win, and I keep on dying, dying to fit in. Dreaming dreams and dashing never, life is there to interrupt. Someone out there tell my mother, look at me, I'm all grown up. Story ups and downs, and I take such unforgiving world. 17, how will I manage? Straight there beneath all the layers, would you recognize the girl lying there? Sought after, trapped like a pearl. Now the portrait has captured the girl. Now the portrait has captured the girl. Are you there? He needs to give me more. I'll drink to that. Who cares what people think? We're fine. We've been through this before. One day you wake up and realize all he needs is me. Until then, God, I wish I knew I need a guarantee.
We're doing time and confession. It's a poor therapy session. We have no need for forgiveness, because our shit's none of his business.
I will always remember the first stolen moment. There you were kissing me, and time seemed to freeze. Now I stand at a crossroad, and I stare at a question. If prayer were the answer, I'd fall on my knees. But forward is calling, and I cannot stay here. A parting of souls as I try to move on. How do I forget the dream you shared with me?
One forever, can you feel it? I'm so happy, does it show? Baby, you are all I need. Hold me, don't let go. Happy birthday, Ivy, you're the ugliest of all. You are the worst and most perverse to roam Cecilia's hallowed halls. Your mother was a hooker and your father was a dick. You poked her in the toaster and the pair produced a pig. His brain is awfully tiny and his ass is awfully big. Happy birthday, bitch! Happy birthday, bitch! Happy birthday, Ivy! Bitch, 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 bitch! That little bitch and you fuck her in the ass.
You went to you for guidance. You hid behind a screen, knowing how much empathy might mean. Did you know how much he loved? Did you know how much he cared? Lost in the teachings was a boy, so all alone and scared. Father, we were so in love, and that's what I find so odd. Our love was pure and nothing else brought me closer to God. I've never been this bad. I've never been so scared. I've never felt such honesty. That will never go away. Of such beach of a standing, knowing what you mean to me, knowing who we have to be. Oh, as you hold my hand, I hope and pray that you'll forever. You and I know you're here in my heart. Please understand that I try. It's not goodbye.
Now a warning emergency, it's time to be a grown-up. We done gone and made the call, but you need to pick the phone up. Bring your mother, tell it all, just go ahead and own up. Stop denying, drop the drama, tell the world the first of mama, let her know. I read the books, Peter. Oh, pick them. Say come out when you're ready, but don't talk about it, be about it.
Come on now, boy.
'Cause life is now, sugar.
Gotta live your life.
Don't hide it under a bushel, or whatever my baby used to say.
Jesus knows what's up, operator.
Help a boy connect, operator. Let him call collect, operator. What you put him through, someone's got a job to do, operator. Got the change in hand,
waiting in the rain, and I keep on hating all the pain, and I keep on trying to begin, and I keep on dying to fit in.